amidst the speckled pebble and every band of sand, leads a life so pure, lives the children's playground.
I think I should tell you my story. You see, I'm Nathan in a way, and we're all like Nathan, every one of us, including those that live in the sea. This is a story about Nathan and how he came to love surfing. Oh, let's come down. There's a bright sky. She sees no time for anyone. My name is actually Scott Brent, a sea fauner who inherited through the epistle and the General Fellowship of Nathan's Voice in St. Thomas's Cathedral, the underwater cathedral in the coral reefs of the islands of Hawaii. And I can tell you that I'm going to tell you a story about a lovely old and young man called Nathan, that traveller of the sea who rose to the Celtic Sea. So, please, let me begin. See, Nathan had grown up around the sea, and he rather enjoyed going in it surfing. And how he came to surf, rather a lot in Cornwall, was down to his luck and energy. He travelled far too, along the breadth and length of Cornwall. He was a musician and an artist, and he still is today. Portreath, 9 to 10 foot outside sector 12 feet. Just like the forecast said, pretty stoked. Hey, God was pissing on us, but we won't take it for granted. So at least that spares us the pitfalls. He loved wildlife. He always will. He will always live with them. But surfing and training for it, well, it was always his goal, his favoured sport, his life. really was on the crest of a wave.
Hi guys, it is 18 minutes to 8, 7:42 on the 19th of the 9th 2016, and I'm leaving for holiday in Falmouth, which is about 40, 45, maybe 50 at the most miles down to the southwest tip of Cornwall. I'm looking forward to it. I'm there for a holiday, but I'm going to be doing a lot of surfing and a lot of photography. Hopefully I'll take my guitar tune with me, and that'd be great. Tune up, play a few songs, so I'm really looking forward to that. But bon voyage. Bon voyage. If you look out, it's just getting light here, autumn days. And there you have it. Cheers folks. Hey! Bus to Bodmin Parkway.
Then he had that thing following him. Follow him all the way around. And it scared some people. It really scared them. But be not fazed. Be not fazed by that. But on with the tail. On with the tail. Those ghosts, they need to be catapulted into the heavens there. The buildings and the collective psyche and watery endeavourings, and of course Nathan's hobbies, his favourite surfing, had built quite a strong love out of the foundations on Earth, and of England, and of the UK. Yes, I've shown you just a few photos as well of Nathan's great adventure. Post boxes, he needed them to get letters for driving licenses, applications for money, all sorts of things. Really, quite rather helpful. He also did a walking activity to a quoit, which is a Cornish word for grave, an ancient meaning for an ancient land. Yeah, we said catapult those ghosts into heaven. A field would do, but actually there's a grave there, and that's what we're showing you. Yeah, we visited a few death spots, as it was, and released any inner demons. Any troubled or unsettled spirits were put to rest, and peace and kindness grew in the heavens. He meditated a lot. He envisioned his trance. It was easy, it came to him. It had been with him since he was a child in Mullion, Cornwall, UK. He meditated, he did mindfulness of breathing. If his mind drifted, it's okay. He dreamt instead. And then he'd bring it back to breathing. And he'd dip in and out of it for years. He'd close his eyes for 6 hours at a time sometimes to prepare for a driving lesson. He did anything he wanted to do with meditation. He still loves it today, and he believes he always will. Relaxing music, perhaps Gregorian chant, meditative chant, and requiem and classical music. It stirs him, and it settles him, and it sedates him even, and helps him focus.
Good tidings.
I'd quickly become the sportsman I'd always wanted to be. My life is a painting, but I want to be real.
Pictures I mark out in the paper, wishing us some love tonight, and I do.
I
could write a book about this. About electronics and guitars, bodybuilding and sport. I'm sure in surfing my idols fall, or rather, they fall about with me at sea.
He'd become quite a passion, and still he persevered with his own life and all his arts. There was more to come yet, much more. He loved places. He will always remember somehow. He was a warrior, a fighter, a conjurer. He even got trapped in machines, computers or hard drives. He was embossed by a lot of it too. He wouldn't give up. He wouldn't give up. He ardently maintained. And got out of machines somehow, like a lunar eclipse, in and out. It didn't really matter whether he was good at anything. I mean, I could tell you he was good on guitar and he was good in the sea. And it didn't occur to him that if he's not the best, it didn't matter. Ah, the magical pool of the Southwest.
Magical Canic Sands. From a vantage point.
I can feel my spirit soaring. I'm sure Nathan can too.
That was good. That was good. Something's right. Probably the sea.
His big comings and goings. His big twetherings. Hey. Ooh. And then, of course, his music and his music videos. They caught on in a flash in Romania. They went down really well. And in other parts of the world too. He became quite an icon.
Stoked! Woo! Woo!
The place, Bodmin. The date, 14th of January 2017. Everyone I loved was sat upon a firelit morning, upon the edge of swell, upon the solstice swarming. Daylight me was singing, how mother was stirring. In heart of apathy we knelt to her ancient jelly green demons. Our spirits were warming to the ultimate glide, to the solstice swarming. Everyone there was hugging, everyone there was popped, as the sandbank and cliff edge got blown apart. A wave totally tunnel and naturally dawning, a wave twixt our bodies like solstice swarming. I ride, we ride, together we flow, together we dive. See the limbo off to 1,000 shades of rainbow. See how mountains are tubing slow. Energy, a special focus of perfection. Together we fly as a last race sections. She kisses, last touch of love on water, before she drives us down to our slaughter. Her final sets of tears pouring, then she lets break a solstice swarming. We're still just in glide, wall to wall tomb, back to the start, back to the womb. The lightest day, the brightest morning, we do again.
He was quite the poet. The poet, he was words. He was wordy, 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 wordy. He was. Sound into the earth is where we ground. I climb high to climb the mountain to somewhere new. Our bodies down. Gonna stone my aliens. Gonna move a ship or fly with them. Gonna stone my aliens. Gonna move a ship or fly with them always. Table dancing frog on rock to the time let bodies talk. Your closet had a ticking clock. The weed, the lines, sand and rock. Yeah.
Yeah, this is where you lose me. Yeah, this is where I'm lost. Yeah, this is where you lose me. And yeah, this is where I'm lost.
Hello people and welcome. It is the 10th of April 2018 and I am touring down in Kenwick Sands, down on the southwest of England on the Lizard Peninsula, and I've had a magnificent few days. Got a little bit sunburnt, but I feel alright. I've been in the water, I've got some on film with me bodyboarding, and I've done a bit of longboarding, you know, and I've done all sorts of things there, so absolutely great. Thank you. Hi folks, Monday evening on a cold October day, Portreath, southwest Cornwall. Just had a couple of hours in the sea, we're now an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, and good fun. Some shore break waves, and the reef really summed it all up today, just going off the wall over there, so it was good to get in today.
Cat. Thing that's been following us was telling us about cat as well. Believe that, eh? A cat of all things lovely. Corker Dillon was born. He was born in 2018, of course, in December the 13th, and he became part of the family. Oh, and that thing that's been following us, Nathan says there was a bit of argy-bargy, a bit of heave-ho. In other words, I'm saying fight. And he did that in surf combat. So what really is that mother nature-y thing trying to tell us with its beady eye? It's beady eye. Perhaps it's telling us that justice is served. Perhaps it's telling us that it's transient, or that surfing is a thing of beauty, and it's watching us, our every move, to find out that everything will be alright.
snapped the leash.
It's not that big.
Snapped the leash in about 4 to 5 foot waves. It's quite heavy.
You know, I'm fed up now with that old Mother Nature putting her arpeggio birth down on Nathan's soul for not fighting, when clearly Nathan had put all the effort he could humanly do into his paddling sport, and he'd scattered the paddle through the salt water. So I think a good old-fashioned Cornish tree haunt will suit affairs, and a telling of the story and how it all started. Ah. And there we have it. Father Dora had been created. Mother Bertha was always here. Mother Bertha was far, far outside of eternities. She would reach further inward to eyeball the central light of space, our sun. She would use this light to keep a watchful eye on proceedings. The light her glowing eye beamed out from universe to universe. Mother Bertha was made of ever-shining matter, all tiny and huge, soft and dexterous, flexible and charged with a chance of power and energy. From matter, matter became nuclei, nuclei became cell, and cell became atom, and from atom to molecule. Father Dora was in existence born out of a sphere of pearl, diamond and light. Sphere because the circle is magic. His creator was God, the world around him. As she worked out her time as an infinite signal, then it was so. So she did indeed work out that no matter what had always been here, there always had to include whatever it was in time's everlasting signal. She had figured out that simply life was a fluke, if only like the eye of an angel hooked by her serene beauty. Firstly, in her date, which was 0 of zeros, to count from 0 to 1 to 3 and onwards, Bertha, as we shall know her, set about the parameters. She made time, which is a count of a number that stretches out to an event and on to other events. You all may have heard of watches or clocks with this count. As Mother Bertha was so clocked on, she knew that she would have to remember her time counts, and would become collective in her ordering of numbers. Bertha was being helped by an equal, the Lord of Good, the Lord of Time, Good Force. Who or what may help, so she wondered. What little chance there is to even see, that even her story will be told. She made notes by patterns of glowing matter in her surroundings and slowly began to jolt herself, her whole body, into a start. This powerful way was her instinct, a way to build her brain step by step, count by count. The world would have to make sense, so she began to figure it out. And all this by virtue of a fluke, not granted nor given. Nothing would pass or happen, though by magic something happened. In fact, all that was all had happened. At figuring out, she knew her weight would get heavy, and so by virtue she balanced out the edge of everything to counteract. That is, to balance her mass. Now, counteract is much like using a brake in a car or asking someone to help you carry a load. Mass is a sign, like a word, which is everything you are going to describe of an object. I am Lord, I suppose. How? By what law is all this possible? Why, by what chance or fathom have you left me? Said Bertha. Cried the future in its own code. It was a dolphin. We will leave you, cried one of the gods. But this did not make sense, though she began to grow, evolving slowly by size, as to be honest, good was expanding. Bertha aligned time with her mass, which was to say, was bound, total and made up, that is to say, created. She would call this heaven, which must surely be a free life and open to way and gesture. Mother Bertha created numbers, shapes, life, plans, spirits, words, thoughts and ideas, globe by globe, solar system by solar system, making galaxy to galaxy in the entire world mushroom into infinite peace and sanctuary. At a sudden, Bertha could not think, she could not hear, she could not see, she could not feel, she could not smell, she could not taste. Though recorded by some way of nature were her interpretations. I don't know, I know. What if I do this? This would work. Thank you. This is my dream. Why? How? Tell me. This instant. I've got a plan. No. This isn't fair. On and on were her efforts to summary of what exactly she was doing. Heaven. This was not an end. We need only for moments to know ourselves. Perhaps like Bertha we are something good that can mean just what we want it to mean. And at all at once. Love. Her world would work with love, created by her imagination, amplified strength, or even fortified by her spirit of emotion. Down to fact of matter, logic would endure that there was something and nothing. Supply and resource would be difficult, so to create she would need far more reaching than infinite. To take literally, she relied upon a clever law of physical state, which was a relative law. Knowingly, by way of light through naught, her law would relate to how easy or hard this all was. If Mother Bertha found easy, the outcome would be hard. In fact, as this was so, ting ting, ting ting, a piece of matter fused and bounced off itself, which made two, ting ting, ting ting, bounce again, plenty of plenty, shroom, matter, which was called iron, was infinite, without loss, massively gigantic, harder than every easy free, going out, stretching at such with kind explosion after explosion, bang. Matter was talking to matter all over the place. Lines of thick-lined blackness where Bertha wandered, never heard of that. She was referring to the fact that if there is naught zero, then there would be black. And there wouldn't be black. At this white veiled black, and it occurred that for her part in a heaven story, which she knew about and dreamt on, and to be logical, then planning for everything would be difficult. The outcome of this would be easy, eternal possibility. In fact, all would be all. Bertha kept up with this matter and imagined herself to weigh less than nothing. In fact, she imagined herself to weigh minus infinite weight. At this she grounded on a big chunk of iron. This was handy because she could record things she had worked on. So she then connected to the piece of matter and imagined herself to be as heavy as possible, this causing her to float up and up. Soon she would return to where she had started. Circular. In her path she would leave stretches of light and dashes of atoms. It was an exhibition of serene beauty and power. Simply she would move in circles. She constantly dreamt all this you have read so far, and took herself away from where she was, having never been there. That is to say that zero equals infinite. With great force she lifted her arm and swung it around, envisioning molecule upon molecule piled on top of each other. The space had filled, and molecule after molecule would gather. She placed tiny parts of her body, mainly her eyes, for she would soon see into each molecule and each part of light too, making a tiny mirror in each so she could add a data field into the building blocks. Bertha could now see, having joined and connected to what was around her. Now Bertha needed to set regular time, so she decided that as one turn of the total matter, which had become infinite, the time would be year one. She made marks evenly by way of division 4 times around this rotation. When entirety would make itself back to the fourth mark, then this would signal a year. At year one of entirety, there was continued and infinite triangles, squares, circles, spheres, globes, rectangles, diamonds, parallelograms, and every shaped block of matter she made here. That is to say, she jolted into reality and truth the body parts of space, and therefore was ready to equip. At two, immediately she created universal boundaries, a solar system, a delicate planetary orbit, Earth, and then went about creating breath, body, animal, and sea. She gave to this latter part of life a planet formed by an equal God, and chose to grow out families. Each was given fair division, and eventually Nathan would be formed and sculpted, also too his friends of the earth. She continued to work hard, and from being close to her home, planet that we shall call Earth, Mother Bertha could now also hear, see, feel, smell, taste. It was decided that to initiate care and love for all life, that Mother Bertha would take the role of Mother Nature. Dora, oh Dora, the senses, the harmony, the love, so it must be, pure. So must it be, that sea, that whale, the shark, the river and star upon it. Bertha sung out, falling in love, so peacefully, reckoning with her partner. Dora, be it fine and sugary, be it form and formless, let it be quiet and good and quiet, like a settled land, epiphany of life's laws. Bertha cried so rightly and lovingly, yes, and my huge highness, yourself too have I known to care, to sing with heart and of course tune. The strings of chords that echo sound and more, a painting, so songnitude will let a flavour for icy and growing craft of good. Dora had frequented verse 2 and loved Mother Bertha. Father Dora and Mother Bertha had infinite senses now, as quickly and uniformly they kept good eye on proceedings. By science they made noble gases, water and plants, and life to massive variety and happiness. They made so for one reason, and so it was, love. At year 3 of 3, they decided that each turn of space would measure out exactly indefinitely as one orbital year. Also, Bertha set equally aside the dimensions of space, axes, aphelia, and perihelia. Now all these meant measures and points of rotation, and governing magnet pull out and magnet pull in. Because there were infinite parameters to install, then it was so that electricity, which was alive and dancing by this year, would be the perfect candidate to build with and form into love. With gigantic energy, so it was, the surrounding poles and systems came together.
By year 404, they had both humbled love as their way by celebrating life with music on music, image on image. On year 505, Bertha joined Nathan and his friends together and sang with the world in deep lines of fortitude. On year 6 of 6, she began to research her own ways and refined by size to total love her definitions. That is to say, learnt in gardens of her acquaintances and made law that all was good. Due to life being a fluke, a vision, and down to all circumstance, it was so that the word of evil and death was made. This, I assure you, was destined to make what was possible in heaven. That is to say, it would guard everything below it. Sometimes coins or gold have been marked with words like death, for to take a tune fid death, meaning defender of the faith. On years 7, 8 and 9, rejoices were heard and relayed to the heavens with the books, the lyrics of creators such as God, the Christian fellowships, and fathers and mothers. All is well here. These are the words of good, the words of Nathan. Praise to be to unity and command. May all join and voyage safely across heights metered reach. Amen. Womb.
Aircraft. Caught a fly. Caught a fly. There he is.
So what I've told you today will always be remembered. It will always be noted as well, intimately, personally, by me, Mr. Brent, and by Nathan Peter Williams. He'll live forever in spirit. He'll live eternities very often in body too. His soul and consciousness will live on. In the story I've told you today, the story you watch right now, I have disclosed and told to you and told a story of truth and light and of course fiction. And it's a dark yet lit with rainbows with diamonds, with pearls, with bright skies and golden lights. You see, along with darkness comes a lot of light, a lot of peace, and a lot of magnitude and solitude. And sometimes that's where a chrysalis or an osmosis happens. It's the trade-off. Today in this movie has told you of a dark passage, a light passage of eternal life in Cornwall and the surrounding worlds and the foreign lands, the lands Nathan visited, the lands he's been to, the places he's surfed, the music he's played, its reincarnation. It is also circular, and it will revolve and it will evolve. It will be breathing. Sure, death will happen. Death is a universal phenomenon, just like life, love and laughter are universal phenomenons. And surfing too is a universal phenomenon. I'm just thankful today. Grateful am I for the music, the arts, the surfing, for breathing, for having peace and serenity. And I wish it always to be this way. It's so heavenly in Cornwall sometimes. And it's a small snapshot of a very big cake. And I love the sea too. I love the land. And Nathan's surfing will go on and on. Sure, he may go over the falls. But if he falls, he returns.
Lady, I dread, you know that you own me. Though like the coins that take your way. Romance I stand, it's in the rooms of sand. Baby, babe, your human beauty is firstly.
snapped a leash. Snapped a leash in about 4 to 5 foot waves. It's quite heavy.
If I